Hello and welcome to News at 6 on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you. Now, Vyapam case is getting murkier by the day. There have been 2 deaths in the last 48 hours. We'll get you all the details. Also, it is a crucial day for Greece as Greeks are voting in a crucial referendum on the bailout deal. More details to follow, but first up, the headlines that we are tracking. Second Vyapam case-related death in 48 hours. Body of Arun Sharma, Dean of an MP Medical College, found in a Delhi hotel. Sharma was assisting an SIT probe into the case. Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan promises SIT probe into death of Delhi-based journalist covering the case. Opposition asks why not a CBI investigation. Major setback to case proceedings in the 2007 Ajmer blast. 3 more prosecution witnesses turn hostile. 13 witnesses have gone against their testimony in the case so far. And millions of Greeks vote in crucial referendum to determine their nation's destiny in the Eurozone. Opinion polls find the contest is too close to call. Well, the day's biggest story, 2 more deaths in the Vyapam scam case has triggered MP government's call for an SIT probe into the case. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan said that he is open to any probe to crack the series of mysterious deaths related to the case, the latest victims being a journalist and a doctor. Here are the details. These are the 2 latest victims of what is seen as a series of at least 27 mysterious deaths in the Vyapam scam case. Dr. Arun Sharma, who was probing fake examinees in the exam scam, was found dead in Delhi late on Saturday. He had taken over as Dean of the NS Medical College only 2 months ago. The earlier Dean, Dr. D.K. Sakale, was found burned to death at his home exactly a year ago. So far, the cops haven't found anything suspicious regarding the Dean's death.
Nothing foul as of now we have found. And we have sent the body for post-mortem and we are investigating it, we are collecting all scientific evidences.
Earlier on Saturday, Akshay Singh, a television journalist working with the TV Today group, died in MP's Jhabua after sudden illness. He was taken to hospital moments after he interviewed parents of a girl who was found dead near railway tracks after her name figured in the scam. Though post-mortem report has ruled out foul play in Akshay Singh's death, there are demands for probe to ensure there was no unnatural cause.
तबीयत अचानक खराब हो गई, उनके होंठ हिलने लग गए और मुंह से उनके झाग आया और हाथ अचानक मूव करने लग गया। मूव करने के बाद उनको अचानक गिरने लगे। जेएनयू हॉस्पिटल में ले गए तो वहाँ पे डॉक्टर अवेलेबल नहीं थे, नर्स वगैरह ने भी चेक करा वहाँ पे और वहाँ पे भी उनकी नर्स वगैरह नहीं चली थी तो उन्होंने बोला कि शायद इनकी डेथ हो गई।
And this is maybe the 45th death. And today Madhya Pradesh for this scam is getting known not only in India but all over the world. We are getting such a bad name. It's high time that we went for a independent investigation and a Supreme Court monitoring. What is happening today, nobody believes.
After 2 more deaths, the MP government is ready to probe why people linked to the scam are dying. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has called for an SIT probe into the scribe's death.
आज मैं SIT को पत्र लिख रहा हूं। SIT जिसका गठन हाई कोर्ट के रिटायर्ड जज की अध्यक्षता में, सेवानिवृत्त जो जज थे उनकी अध्यक्षता में माननीय हाई कोर्ट ने किया है।
It would be absolutely important that a very fair inquiry is held so that all doubts can be set at rest.
The Vyapam scam reportedly involves a massive admission and recruitment racket involving several bureaucrats and politicians. Some reports claim that the number of dead associated with the scam so far is more than that of the figures claimed by the government. The most high-profile death was that of Madhya Pradesh Governor Ram Naresh Yadav's son, Shailesh Yadav. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And whistleblower in the Vyapam scam, Dr. Anand Rai, was among many people who reacted to the latest deaths of people connected with the case. Now suspecting the use of poison to cause these deaths, he said that it was a systematic attempt to suppress the case. Now others, including political leaders, are calling for a Supreme Court-monitored CBI probe.
With death after death being reported in the Vyapam case, it's a question everyone is asking. Who is getting away with murder? Expressing concern, opposition parties are training their guns on the ruling BJP, both in Madhya Pradesh and the centre.
We express strong concern and condemnation of the way the Madhya Pradesh government is dealing with the entire case. And this is a fit case that needs to be probed by very higher authorities, monitored by Supreme Court or High Court.
Vyapam is probably the most scary, the most dangerous and the most widespread scam in independent Indian history. The government of Madhya Pradesh very successfully, and I will say openly with the help of the local media of Madhya Pradesh, has suppressed this scam, and while being in alliance with a large number of institutions in Madhya Pradesh, it has completely killed the investigations.
Witnesses and accused involved in the case are worried. They're not only feeling threatened, they seriously doubt if the truth will ever come out.
माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी से पूछना चाहता हूं कि वो खुद बता दें कि उन्होंने किस तरीके से खुलासा किया। यदि वो खुलासा करता है तो उनके पास व्यापम से जुड़े और भी दस्तावेज होंगे,
क्योंकि सबको जान को खतरा है। अगर मैंने ये बीड़ा उठाया है तो ये है कि उनको ये बताया गया है कि एसटीएफ को उनने 200 से ज़्यादा जानकारियां दी हैं व्यापम की। चिकित्सकों की जान जा रही है, ईमानदार दबंग व्यक्तित्वों की जान जा रही है। क्या करना है आप देखिए, इन्वेस्टिगेशन एजेंसी इसकी जांच करें और सत्य को सामने लाएं।
The scam was first reported in 2013. Since then, estimates as to the number of people associated with then case who have died vary from 27 to 46. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And in other news, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has made a strong case for the passage of GST and land acquisition bills, saying that they were necessary to create jobs and remove poverty. Now, allaying apprehensions over complexities of GST, Jaitley has said that the proposed taxation system will end the cobweb of various taxes and miseries being faced by the trading community. While the GST bill is being scrutinized by a select committee of Rajya Sabha, the land acquisition bill is being discussed by the Joint Committee of Parliament. Both the committees are expected to submit their report at the beginning of the next session. Now, Jaitley's appeal for a passage of the GST and land acquisition bills comes amid fears of opposition disrupting the forthcoming monsoon session over the Lalit Modi controversy. Meanwhile, commenting on the socio-economic and caste census, Jaitley said that the NDA government was trying to create conditions for accelerating growth to 8 to 10% through a series of measures. And in a major setback to the case proceedings in the 2007 Ajmer blast, now 3 more prosecution witnesses have made a U-turn. Reports suggest that 3 crucial prosecution witnesses have now turned hostile and gone back on their testimonies, bringing the total number of hostile witnesses to 13. The statements of the witnesses were recorded before a judicial magistrate to ensure there was no pressure from the investigators. Significantly, one of the hostile witnesses is Randhir Singh, who is now a minister in the Jharkhand government. The development comes days after the public prosecutor in the 2008 Malegaon blast case claimed that she had been under pressure to go soft on the accused.
करीब 13 विटनेसेस हॉस्टाइल हुए हैं और देखिए प्रोसिक्यूशन का केस तो विटनेसेस पे डिपेंड करता है क्योंकि जो सब्सटेंटिव एविडेंस होती है वो डायरेक्ट एविडेंस होती है जो विटनेस बॉक्स में आकर के विटनेस देता है। अगर वो हॉस्टाइल हो जाते हैं तो प्रोसिक्यूशन का केस बहुत ज़्यादा डैमेज करता है और प्रोसिक्यूशन के केस में कोई दम नहीं रहता। ये सारे इंपॉर्टेंट गवाह थे, 164 के स्टेटमेंट थे इनके मजिस्ट्रेट के सामने ड्यूरिंग इन्वेस्टिगेशन, इसलिए दीज विटनेसेस आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट।
And for more updates from across the country, let's go nationwide. The National Investigation Agency has shifted the Sunil Joshi murder case back to Madhya Pradesh. The NIA said it found no evidence of a terror angle to it. Sunil Joshi was charge-sheeted by NIA in connection with the Samjhauta Express train blast of 2007. NIA suspected Joshi had a role in Samjhauta Express blast, besides explosion at Malegaon, Ajmer Dargah and Mecca Masjid in Hyderabad. The decision comes after NIA had filed several applications before courts in Madhya Pradesh seeking directions to the state police to hand over the investigation to it. The operation between the army and militants near the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir Zuri sector entered the third day today. The fierce encounter broke out on Friday after the army launched an attack following inputs about infiltration and the presence of 3 to 4 persons in the area. So far, 2 militants and an army jawan have been killed in the gunfight. The Indian Space Research Organisation or ISRO will launch 5 British satellites on 10th of July. Now, this is ISRO's biggest commercial mission so far and will be executed along with Antrix. ISRO will deploy the reliable Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle to put the satellites into the orbit. The launch pad at the Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh will be used for the mission. A massive landslide in Darjeeling has cut off Sikkim from the rest of the country. Hundreds of tourists bound for Sikkim have been stranded along with heavy trucks ferrying goods to the state. Authorities have stepped up relief and rescue operation to ensure connectivity in the area. Last week, heavy landslides killed at least 38 people in Darjeeling. Several are still missing under the debris. All right, in news at 6, we'll take a very short break. Up next, we'll get you all the international news, including a new video claims Islamic State militants conducting mass execution in Palmyra's ancient amphitheatre. And also, the Tunisian government declares state of emergency a week after 38 tourists were killed in a beach hotel attack. Details to follow. Stay with us.
New government in New Delhi. New faces.
People are not investing because they are scared of your tax administration.
New thinking.
The auction process is a fair and good process.
You cannot have a one-size-fits-all reform policy.
For insights and perspective.
Judiciary should be more concerned about corruption within itself.
The Modi government slogan of "Achhe din aane wale hain." Soon the people's slogan will be "Hamare purane din lauta do."
The biggest show on economic policy. Watch State of the Economy.
Get live Rajya Sabha session. News, views, reports and analysis you can trust on social media. Subscribe, follow, like Rajya Sabha Television.
Welcome back after the break. On to the big international story of the day. Well, millions of Greeks lined at the polling stations today to vote in the crucial referendum on whether to accept or reject the tough terms of an aid offer to stave off a financial collapse. Now, Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras said that the vote would determine its destiny in the Eurozone. According to opinion polls, Greeks appear to be divided over the issue. The turnout is expected to be high after a frantic campaigning.
Greeks lined up in front of polling booths on Sunday in the high-stakes referendum to decide the future of the nation. After weeks of unfruitful talks between the government and the international creditors, the decision was left in the hands of the people on whether to accept the terms of the bailout package.
Θέλω το ναι. Δεν έχω εμπιστοσύνη αλλού.
Ελπίζω να βάλουμε μυαλό οι Έλληνες και να μπορέσουμε να ομονοήσουμε και να ξαναχτίσουμε από την αρχή, να ανασυγκροτήσουμε τη χώρα μας, γιατί έτσι όπως έχουμε καταδείξει, εάν δεν ομονοήσουμε δεν πρόκειται να έχουμε κανένα μέλλον.
Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras has been urging people to vote against stricter austerity measures. He was welcomed at the polling stations by crowds of supporters. He said a no vote will give the government more leverage in talks with the creditors.
Ο ελληνικός λαός σήμερα στέλνει ένα πολύ ισχυρό μήνυμα. ένα μήνυμα αξιοπρέπειας, αποφασιστικότητας, το μήνυμα ότι έχει στα χέρια του την επιλογή. Πολλοί μπορούν να αγνοήσουν τη βούληση μιας κυβέρνησης. Κανείς δεν μπορεί να αγνοήσει τη βούληση ενός λαού να ζήσει. Να ζήσει με αποφασιστικότητα, να πάρει τη ζωή στα χέρια του.
Cyprus's political opponents are angered by the government's inability to reach a compromise with its lenders. Many warn that a no vote will only put the emergency funds in jeopardy and hasten exit from the euro.
Σήμερα οι Έλληνες αποφασίζουμε για τη μοίρα της χώρας μας. Ψηφίζουμε ναι στην Ελλάδα, ψηφίζουμε ναι στην Ευρώπη. Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
The result of the referendum is expected later today. Meanwhile, the Eurozone is waiting to see what the Greek government would do after the result. The Eurogroup is ready to consider any new request from Greece to resume bailout talks. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Right, a crucial day for Greece there. Meanwhile, US presidential candidate Hillary Clinton has accused China of stealing huge amounts of government information and trying to hack into everything that doesn't move in America. Now, Hillary's language on China appeared to be far stronger than that usually used by President Barack Obama's Democratic administration. Hillary also said that while she wanted to see China's peaceful rise, US needs to be fully vigilant. US Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton on Sunday unleashed some of the strongest words on China's alleged hacking of US computers. Speaking at an event in New Hampshire, Hillary said China had stolen a large amount of government data and that US needs to be vigilant.
They're also trying to hack into everything that doesn't move in America, stealing commercial secrets, blueprints from defense contractors, stealing huge amounts of government information, all looking for an advantage. Make no mistake, they know they're in a competition and they're going to do everything they can to win it.
US has accused China of the recent theft of personal data of nearly 4 million federal employees. China denies any involvement, calling US claims irresponsible. Clinton urged vigilance not only in the cyber world but also on China's growing military might. Clinton was referring to China's building of man-made islands in disputed waters.
We also have to be fully vigilant that China's military is growing very quickly. They are establishing military installations that, again, threaten countries we have treaties with, like the Philippines, because they are building on contested property.
Republican presidential candidates have used the reported cyber attack to accuse President Obama's administration of incompetence. The FBI is investigating the intrusion that involved the Federal Office of Personnel Management, responsible for overseeing personal records of US employees. The Bureau has not, however, given evidence that pinpoints China, nor has it come up with a possible motive. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And Israel has hailed India's decision to abstain a UN vote as a significant shift in the centre's policy towards that country. The Israeli envoy to India, Daniel Karman, made a special mention of India, expressing gratitude for not supporting yet another anti-Israel resolution to the United Nations. According to reports, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had reached out to his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi and urged him to abstain during the UN HRC voting. On Friday, India had abstained from the voting on a resolution on Palestine adopted by the UN Human Rights Council. The resolution called for accountability by parties involved in last year's conflict in Gaza. India, however, maintained that there was no change in its long-standing position on support to the Palestinian cause. All right, let's get you more international stories in Global Buzz. Islamic State militants conducted a mass execution in Palmyra's ancient amphitheater. A video purportedly shows the militants leaving the notorious Palmyra position where the soldiers were said to be held before the execution. The victims were taken to the ancient amphitheater of Palmyra and they were lined on stage. 25 men were killed in a shot to their head. Palmyra was home to Roman-era ruins. Islamic State fighters captured it in May this year. Tunisia declared emergency just over a week after 38 tourists were killed in an attack in the resort city of Sousse. Tunisian President Baji Khaled Essebsi said that exceptional measures were needed as the country was in a state of war. The emergency will be placed for a renewable period of 30 days. Pope Francis today left Rome for his first trip to Latin America, where he will champion the rights of the poor and of the planet. Now, Francis's trip to Ecuador, Bolivia and Paraguay is his first visit abroad since a landmark encyclical urged the defense of the environment. Now, the Champagne vineyards of France are among 11 new additions to the list of UNESCO's World Heritage Sites. Other sites listed are Singapore's Botanic Gardens, the Yar Akin Fortress in Turkey, the Susa and Meymand cave dwellings in Iran, the Tusi sites in China, the Baekje historic sites in Korea, and the great Burkhan Khaldun mountain and its surrounding sacred landscape in Mongolia. Now, two Danish sites, a Moravian church settlement, Christianfeld, and the Par Force hunting landscape in North Zealand also figure in this list. All right, a beautiful World Heritage sites there. Time to take another short break. We'll be back with sports news. Stay with us.
Hello and a warm welcome to our special report, the program that brings you a ground zero view from whichever part of the country the Rajya Sabha TV cameras are travelling. It is the same village where the Telangana agitation actually began. We at Rajya Sabha TV bring you the first pictures of the landfall site. This is the main nerve centre where the legal battle for the Kaveri water dispute began. When you are moving around this Niyamgiri Hill area, there are 41 streams like these which you have to cross.
No one understands India better than we do. Watch special report only on Rajya Sabha television.
Tradition dating back centuries. A cultural heritage that inspires and warms at once. Magic that awes. Rajya Sabha television brings you events that embrace the wonders of India's classical arts. Conversations with the biggest names in the culture and music. Rajya Sabha television, democracy at work.
Get live Rajya Sabha session. News, views, reports and analysis you can trust on social media. Subscribe, follow, like Rajya Sabha television.
Hello and a very warm welcome to a brand new edition of World Panorama with me, Frank Pereira.
Barack Obama has been elected on the basis that I will no longer take America into wars, and in fact quite the opposite, I will pull America out of wars.
According to the Indian government, fishermen are not at fault.
The US intervention in Iraq set the stage for exacerbation of these conflicts, and then the intervention in Syria.
Watch World Panorama at these times on Rajya Sabha television.
A new government in New Delhi. New faces,
People are not investing because they are scared of your tax administration.
New thinking.
The auction process is a fair and good process.
You cannot have a one-size-fits-all reform policy.
For insights and perspective.
Judiciary should be more concerned about corruption within itself.
The Modi government slogan of अच्छे दिन आने वाले हैं. Soon the people's slogan will be हमारे पुराने दिन लौटा दो.
The biggest show on economic policy. Watch State of the Economy.
As science beckons India into the future, Rajya Sabha television partakes the responsibility, bringing technology to the Indian people.
Let's take a look at various important science events in the country,
monitoring scientific advances as they unravel.
Intergovernmental panel on climate change has proposed a complete ban on fossil fuels.
Welcome to Eureka.
Interviewing the country's greatest minds. Project the power of science to benefit and transform India. Rajya Sabha television, democracy at work.
Welcome back. Time now for some sporting action in Sports Beat. Britain's Andy Murray reached the fourth round of Wimbledon with a 4-set victory over Italy's Andreas Seppi. Murray will now face Croatia's Ivo Karlovic. In women's singles, defending champion Petra Kvitova made a shock exit in the third round. The two-time winner was stunned by 28th seed Jelena Jankovic of Serbia. She came from a set behind to win 6-3, 5-7, 4-6 to enter the fourth round. Now, world number 10 Angelique Kerber of Germany also crashed out of the women's singles. Jamaican sprinter Asafa Powell ran the second fastest 100 meters of the year to win the Diamond League meeting in Paris. Powell ran a season's best 9.81 seconds to beat France's Jimmy Bicord, who equaled the European record of 9.86. Powell also beat his 9.84 seconds record, which he had in June's this year. Jamaican national trials, that is. Now, American's Justin Gatlin has run the fastest time of the year at 9.74 seconds. Former Liverpool and England captain Steven Gerrard was presented to LA Galaxy fans as the new player at halftime during the team's 4-0 home victory over Toronto FC on Saturday. He will become eligible to play for LA Galaxy in Major League Soccer from Wednesday. He's expected to take to the field in a friendly against Mexico's Club America on Saturday. Now, Gerrard left Liverpool FC in May this year after a 26-year association. Formula One champion Lewis Hamilton took the pole position in a 1-2 with Mercedes teammate and title rival Nico Rosberg at the British Grand Prix. The pole was Hamilton's 8th in 9 races and the 46th of his career. Brazilian Felipe Massa qualified a strong third for Williams ahead of Finnish teammate Valtteri Bottas, with the Ferraris of Kimi Raikkonen and Sebastian Vettel lining up together on the third row. Well, that's all in this edition of News at 6. Thanks so much for watching.